Well, the General Secretary of the Opposition New Patriotic Party, Justin Frimpong Kodua, has cautioned that Ghana's democratic institutions are facing increasing strain under the leadership of President John Dramani Mahama. He accused the NDC government of consistently interfering in legal proceedings to protect party members facing embezzlement charges, describing the trend as part of a broader pattern to political manipulation. Mr. Kodua expressed concern that the government is tightening its grip on state institutions and particularly the judiciary in ways he finds deeply alarming. He argued that the removal of the former Chief Justice Gertrude Arbai Sabatokunu has weakened judicial independence and created an atmosphere in which judges feel reluctant to apply the law without fear or favor. According to him, some recent judicial rulings reflect the posture of authoritarian regimes, a development he says erodes public trust and poses a significant threat to the stability of Ghana's democratic framework. Listen to the General Secretary of the Opposition New Patriotic Party, Justin Frimpong Kodua.
People of Ghana are expecting the NDC to tackle the issues of Galamsey, which is now worsening under their watch, posing an existential threat of our very survival. The Chairman, nearly a year into their tenure, none of these have materialized. Instead, we have witnessed escalating abuse of incumbency and state-sponsored intimidation of political opponents and the media. We have seen a disturbing pattern of filing nolli prosequi to free their members who were standing trial for allegedly embezzling sums of money from the state. We have seen attempts to capture state institutions, including the judiciary, in efforts to sell parliamentary seats we have won or they have legitimately lost. Unfortunately, the judiciary, which is supposed to be the last vanguard of rule of law, has suddenly been captured by the executive, particularly after the unlawful removal of the Chief Justice, and Lady Chief Justice Araba Tokono. Today in Ghana, judges fear to dispense justice according to the law, because they fear they will also suffer the same fate as Justice Tokono. Shockingly, some judges now invoke the words of dictators such as Idi Amin, with the famous pronouncement, "You may have freedom of speech, after speech cannot be guaranteed."
So that's the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Justin Frimpong Kodua. Well, at the same event, the NPP relaunched its amended constitution, with the General Secretary noting that many of the issues that contributed to the party's performance in the 2024 election have been addressed in the revised document.
One of our shortfalls or struggles, even from our forefathers when UGCC was formed, had always been on how our tradition been able to deal with propaganda and lies from our opponents. At least, I'm proud to say that this new constitutional amendment, we have painstakingly looked at how our communication has been run in the past, even from the time of UGCC to date. And we have made reforms to make sure that we address issues of communication and prevent our opponent from always going with propaganda against our party. Chairman, I'm also happy that our party never again will we take security for granted. And indeed, with what happened in December 2024, the party going forward will forever take our security and intelligence as a very serious tool in our body politics. Man, indeed, we have a great tradition. Our problem has been on how to pass our tradition from one generation to the other, and how to recall the struggles of our forefathers, document it so that the current generation, future generation will be proud and learn our history.
So that's the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Justin Frimpong Kodua. I've been joined on the phone by governance suspects, Mr. Richard Fiodomo. Mr. Fiodomo, good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time on 505.
Yeah, good evening.
Great. So first, the New Patriotic Party is alleging that the country is under threats democratically, especially with the judicial interference happening under President John Dramani Mahama. First, let me have your reaction to that.
Thank you very much. I don't see what they see as having the country being under threat when it comes to freedom of speech. Are we saying that if people are in office and they are alleged to have done something wrong, no action can be taken against them? I do not think that is the case. Yes, the Chief Justice of the Republic was removed from office on stated grounds, stated misbehavior. And that is what it is. And I do not think that after that, any issue that's happening on the front of the judiciary to liberate this particular comment. So yes, they have the right to say so, but I strongly disagree with them.
Well, politically speaking, what does the alleged interference in judicial signal about the balance of power in the country, so to speak?
Yeah, for me, yes, assuming that admitting that there's judicial interference, what it means is that it is necessarily going to be a threat to our democracy. That I agree. But as we speak today, there is no judicial interference. The Constitution foresaw that whoever is the Chief Justice can make or be held to account. The Constitution has given guidelines, requirements as to what it takes to remove a Chief Justice. And the President religiously followed those guidelines and got the Chief Justice removed from office. If the President did anything other than what the Constitution mandated him to do, we can have a discussion on that. But let us not make the argument as if a Chief Justice can never be removed from office. If the Constitution did not give room or did not allow for any Chief Justice to be removed from office, this Chief Justice would have still been in office. The Constitution has made arrangements and provisions as to how the Chief Justice can be removed from office. As we speak today, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the Constitution has made provision for how he can be removed from office. The Speaker of Parliament, the Constitution has made provision as to how he or she can be removed from office. So if you come and you are occupying a position and you think that you are above the law, then that is your own cup of tea. But the Constitution is clear as to how it can be removed on stated grounds. If those grounds have been religiously followed and you have been removed from office, that do not lead to judicial interference. So if there is judicial interference, it will have a negative impact on our democracy. But as you speak, there is no judicial interference that I can point to because a Chief Justice has been removed from office, while the Constitution allows that to become possible.
Isn't it worrying that we've politicized everything, hence the discussion about the removal of the former Chief Justice get to talk on it? If not for that, maybe we wouldn't have gotten to this place, right?
You see, one thing we all understand is that political parties are formed to win political power. So anything they seem to be politically worthy to comment on, they will always comment on it. So for me, I do not buy this idea that anything has been politicized. If the NDC feels strongly about an issue and it will benefit their political cause, they will comment on it. If the MPP feels about something and it will benefit their political cause, they will comment. UP, other parties, they will. So I do not see when political parties speak that we should say politicization because that is what they exist to do. Political parties are not religious bodies to come and pray for anybody. They take political issues that will inure to their benefit for them to come back to power or for them to stay in power if they are in government. So there is no issue that you do not expect quote-unquote politicians to talk about. The fact that they are talking about it doesn't make it a political issue necessarily. Removal of the Chief Justice is a constitutional issue, and the Constitution was followed stricto sensu to remove the Chief Justice. As we speak, some petitions have gone to the President on the Electoral Commission, on the the SP. What it means is that the Constitution is clear as to if the President receives such petitions, how the President should go about it. The President has sent those petitions to the Chief Justice. Is that what is supposed to be done? The answer is yes. MPP will not be happy because they brought Jean Mensa and Jean Mensa is going to be removed. So you don't expect them to pass positive comments on this issue. So that passing quote-unquote negative comment about it does not necessarily make it politicization because as the former Chief Justice said, the law is the law. And I think the law is being followed to the latter. So allow politicians to vent their anger, allow politicians to vent their views. The fact that politicians speak doesn't mean the issue has been politicized. I disagree on that score.
Very well. Now, the party relaunched its amended constitution, and the General Secretary noted that many of the issues that contributed to the party's performance in the 2024 election is captured in that revised document. Largely, they talk about security, and from the words of the General Secretary, they won't take their security for granted. What does this mean for internal security and also general elections are concerned based on the party's performance in 2024?
Yeah, I honestly do not know the basis for that comment. Even as a private person, individual, I don't take my personal security for granted. So if a political party also says they will not take their security for granted, I do not begrudge them at all. What I can say is that there is no basis to give the impression as if it was because of insecurity, violence, or anything that led to the MPP losing massively. There is no evidence to that effect. Ghanaians voted, Ghanaians went to queue, voted, the Electoral Commission declared the result, and the MPP lost massively. Of course, as a political party, once you have gone for an election and you have lost, there is always a need for a self-introspection, which they have done. And that led to the Professor Michael Kwe committee. They brought their report, and it has led to amendment of their constitution. For me, it is normal, it is natural. The NDC went through the same phase through Professor KWESI, and they also amended their constitution. In this part of the world, anytime ruling governments lose election, they pretend as if they don't know why they lost, and then they ask people to go and find out why they lost. That one, we leave it to them. So for me, if you have a situation whereby you were going to do a haircut, and you came and told Ghanaians that you are not going to do any haircut, we woke up the next morning and there was haircut, clearly this is not a constitutional matter. It is a deception by the president to the people, and the people did not take it lightly, and they voted against the president, or indeed the MPP. So for me, I've always said that it is just to sustain a certain momentum and also build a certain momentum or a spirit within their members. That's why they do some of these things. But I can tell you on authority, every government that loses election, they know what they did, the reason why they lost. But for their members not to get scattered and all those things, they try to form a committee just to bring their members together. And for me, it is normal. The NDC did it, MPP did it, NDC did it, MPP has done it now. Tomorrow, if the NDC is not in office, they will find out why they lost. So that is a natural political course that actually happens. But we all know why sometimes they lose the election, but when they are in the position, they need to put or keep the spirit of the party together. So some of these necessary amendments must be made so that people will see that they have changed. As to whether that is actually the case, it is time will tell whether Ghanaians will buy into some of these amendments or not. So for me, I think that it is right that they have to do this necessary amendments.
Mr. Fiadumo, thank you so much for your time this evening. So that's Richard Fiadumo, who is a governance expert, helping us on this particular conversation. We'll speak to the New Patriotic Party, particularly a member on the committee that revised the party's constitution. That's a former member of parliament for Ablikuma Central, Ebenezer Gilbert Nati. He will join the conversation shortly to understand really what was captured in the revised documents of the New Patriotic Party as far as the relaunch of the constitution is concerned. You remember that minutes ago, the General Secretary of the party, Justin Frimpong Kodua, talked about some security matters, largely attributing the defeats of the party to the security matters within the party. We'll have his side on the show here on Class 91.3. This is 5:05, 35 minutes after 5. We'll do some few messages and then we'll continue with the former member of parliament who will join us shortly on the line. This one says that, good evening, KOJ. The MPP gave Ghanaians the worst hardship in the past 8 years. Yet today, the General Secretary's only cry is about removing Chief Justice who face serious misconduct allegations. This selective noise and blame game won't fix the economy or create jobs. Ghana is bigger than the NPP and NDC fight. Stop the drama. Let's work for the people. This is from Vonda Avate in Ho Central. He came through with that one. This one says,